Early one morning, an engineer named Jason is fishing at a pier. After catching nothing for days, he finally hooks a fish, but it is too small, so he throws it back. Seeing a major storm approaching, Jason decides to head home. In the suburbs, the rain is already pouring and neighbors are rushing inside. Outside his house, Jason tries to open his garage door, but it malfunctions, forcing him to leave the car in the driveway. Inside, Jason greets his elderly dog, Cassidy, and notices a stack of debt collection letters, revealing he is currently unemployed. He brings donuts to his wife, Anne, and their children, Graham and Ruth. Immediately join them for breakfast. The kids try to use their tablet, but the internet is completely down. Jason blames it on the house falling apart. Anne then shows him an email from a repairman who reviewed photos of the property and concluded the foundation is actively sinking. The only structure holding the building together is the chimney. After breakfast, the family prepares to pick out a Christmas tree. However, when they try to open the front door, it will not budge. Jason tries the back door, but it is also completely sealed. Desperate, the entire family tries opening every single window and door to no avail. The parents want to call for help, but there is no internet or phone signal, while Cassidy barks relentlessly. A frantic Jason throws his weight against the door. Achieving nothing, he hits the windows, managing to crack the glass, but they refuse to shatter. Looking outside, they notice their neighbors trying to get their attention with a mirror, realizing other families are trapped inside their homes as well. At that moment, they spot a neighbor, Susan, running down the street. They try to signal her, but she cannot hear them. When she reaches her own house, she discovers she is locked out while her husband is trapped inside. She quickly runs off to find help. As the hours pass, the family tries to stay entertained. Jason works his tools on the garage door, but it remains jammed. They discuss their neighbors, remembering one owns a boat. Across the street, a couple writes on a mirror that they are stuck together after a mere one-night stand. Meanwhile, another neighboring family, the Richardsons, begins communicating using a whiteboard. Jason responds using his children's green chalkboard. The Richardsons theorize the government enacted a lockdown for their own safety, while the boat owner thinks it is an alien invasion. Everyone wonders if the phenomenon is isolated to their city or affecting the entire world. That night, as Jason puts Ruth to bed, she theorizes the rain caused this because the water looks different. Later in their bedroom, Anne admits she is on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Jason assures her they will be fine, revealing he keeps a gun in the closet. Though freaked out that he kept it a secret, she asks him to teach her how to use it. Instead of sleeping, Jason spends hours in front of a mirror trying to open the garage with his remote control, but it only opens the car trunk. He then drills holes into the front door and is shocked to see water droplets moving strangely to cover the openings. When Anne checks on him, he has made holes in the walls and floor as well. The result is identical. A solid barrier of water stops him from breaking through. Although fresh air still enters through the vents, Jason concludes the anomaly is not man-made. He hears strange noises inside the chimney, but a look inside reveals nothing. The next morning, the rain continues, and the house remains sealed. The family holds a meeting to plan their survival. The kids have plenty of toys, but the parents only have old records and 2 DVDs. Anne instructs the children to maintain their daily chores and hygiene. They begin rationing their food, estimating it will last around 2 months. They must also conserve electricity, gas, and water, as utilities could cut out at any time. Cassidy scratches at the door to relieve himself, forcing Jason to train the dog to go inside the house. On day 4, Jason tries to simulate a school day for the kids, but their hearts are not in it. Instead, he teaches them a practical survival skill: how to gut a fish. Lacking real fish, they practice on plastic dolls. The kids enjoy the lesson and learn that Jason used to own a boat, which he sold when they were born. In the afternoon, Jason and the Richardsons agree to play a neighborhood game of board telephone to determine how far the barrier extends. On day 7, the electricity begins to flicker. Anne saves all vegetable seeds and food scraps, hoping to cultivate indoor plants. Jason learns from the Richardsons that at least 5 blocks are confirmed to be affected by the barrier. Unfortunately, the Richardsons reveal they have completely run out of food, and Jason has no way to deliver aid to them. By day 14, Ruth spends her time drawing the storm. Her sketches depict strange, humanoid beings under the rain and faces hidden within the water droplets. Suddenly, she spots a strange shadow moving down the street but gets distracted by the raindrops, which eerily follow the tip of her pencil against the glass. When she looks back out, the shadow has vanished. As weeks pass, the family stays busy dancing, exercising, watching movies, racing through the hallways, playing cards, and reading. Anne's indoor garden begins to sprout, and Jason burns the debt mail for heat. For the holidays, they assemble an improvised Christmas tree out of random household objects. On day 30, Ruth looks out the window and announces that the rainwalker has returned, claiming the creature always visits during the storm. Her brother, Graham, doubts her, But looking out, he also spots a dark shadow on the street. Scared, he insists it must simply be a wild animal. During dinner, the children complain about eating the same meals every day. Ruth mentions she saw a friendly entity outside trying to communicate, but her parents dismiss it as her imagination. When Ruth gets upset, Jason accidentally snaps at her. Anne tries to cheer everyone up with homemade cookies, but they taste terrible because they lack sugar. After the kids go to bed, the parents smoke before watching their same movie again. Bored of the routine, they lie down by the glass garden door to look at the stars instead. To their surprise, they spot a wild wolf running freely through their yard. The next morning, the family exchanges Christmas gifts made from items found around the house to keep up holiday spirits. Looking out the window, Ruth witnesses Mrs. Richardson suddenly collapse. Jason immediately ushers the kids away, while Anne watches Mr. Richardson run to his wife's side, only to discover she has passed away. That afternoon, Jason administers the last of Cassidy's medicine. In the middle of the night, Ruth wakes up and goes to the living room to retrieve her toys, missing a shape moving past the window. Hearing a noise, she opens the curtains to see a bloodstained Susan desperately begging for help. Clutching a knife, Ruth screams in terror, waking the household. Susan pounds frantically on the glass, repeating that everyone outside is dead. She warns them, "Don't let them see you," and states that no help is coming. Suddenly, an entity in the shadows drags a screaming Susan away. The family watches multiple creatures walking openly down the street. A bright flash of light illuminates the area, and when it fades, the creatures and Susan are gone. After closing the curtains, Jason reviews Ruth's drawings. The girl insists the creature she saw seemed gentle. Jason warns her that the monsters are hostile, ordering everyone to stay strictly away from the windows. That night, the family sleeps together in the living room. Sometime later, Jason looks out and is devastated to see that Mr. Richardson has also died. Another house has posted a sign stating they are out of medicine, while the trapped one-night stand couple constantly fights. Meanwhile, the kids keep up their exercise. Graham runs laps, while Ruth hangs from the ceiling practicing aerial silks. Suddenly, the chimney cap falls down into the hearth. Ruth volunteers to climb up to check for an escape route. The family anchors the silk fabric as Ruth climbs into the flue, the walls cracking around her. At the top, tight piping prevents her from squeezing through, but she can stick her hand out into the open air, proving the chimney is not entirely sealed. After Ruth safely descends, the family hears Cassidy whimpering in severe pain due to his lack of medication. Anne takes the kids to watch a movie, turning the TV volume up to maximum so they will not hear Jason use the gun to put the dog out of his misery in the garage. Afterward, Anne wants to cremate Cassidy in the chimney, but Jason decides to store the body in the freezer in case conditions worsen and they require meat. He butchers the flesh and freezes it, putting the organs into a separate bag. He initially goes to discard the organs in the trash, but spotting the wolf in the garden, he throws the bag out through the top of the chimney instead. The wolf approaches the food, but as it begins to rain, the animal flees. As the weeks roll on, the family closes all curtains whenever the storm starts, moving deep into the interior of the house. One day, Ruth realizes she left her plant on a windowsill and rushes to retrieve it. Alerting a creature outside, the monster pounds heavily on the glass and roars, while the family freezes in terror until it finally walks away. After 3 months, the electrical flickering worsens, and their food supply dwindles to almost nothing. Ruth breaks down crying from hunger. Anne yells at her, physically blocking her from the refrigerator. Jason tells his wife to let her look. Anne steps aside, and Ruth opens the fridge only to find it completely bare. She checks the cupboards, which are equally empty. Ruth slams the door closed and leaves in a huff. The immense stress causes Anne to suddenly collapse. Graham runs to scream in his room while Ruth cries on her bed. Jason promises Anne they will survive, but secretly fears they will watch their children starve. At that moment, Graham returns holding his pet fish, which he has gutted for food. Ruth joins them, and the family hugs for comfort. A noise outside draws Jason's attention. He discovers the wolf has finally returned to eat the discarded organs, giving him an escape and survival strategy. He constructs a trap using a skateboard and mechanical parts, baiting it with a piece of dog meat before launching it out the chimney. A wild wolf triggers the trap and takes the meat, escaping before the mechanism snaps shut. Jason modifies the design and on the next attempt successfully catches a fox. However, as they pull the animal up, the heavy weight snaps the silk line and the wolf escapes. Next, he utilizes an automotive part to construct a small cage trap, baiting it with garden vegetables. A squirrel triggers the cage, and its light weight allows the family to successfully reel it up through the chimney, providing fresh meat afterward. Jason tears up the living room floorboards to access the raw soil underneath, establishing a large indoor agricultural plot. Months turn into years as the family survives on Jason's steady hunting of birds, rabbits, and other small game. One night, the power grids fail permanently across the neighborhood, leaving them to spend their evenings by candlelight. Eventually, 5 full years pass. The children are now teenagers, and all of their neighbors have died. Graham has taught himself to be an expert piano player, and the indoor garden occupies most of the living room space. A filtration system purifies the incoming rainwater, and Jason has automated his hunting traps. Outside, vegetation has completely overtaken the suburban neighborhood, and wild animals roam the empty streets. One day, Anne notices the structural integrity of the house is failing rapidly. She theorizes that the barrier keeping them inside is the only force preventing the foundation from completely collapsing, meaning the house could sink into the earth very soon. Jason gathers the family in the garage, revealing he has fully repaired and tuned his car. Graham dismisses it as a waste of time, prompting a sharp scolding from Jason, who explains that they need projects to maintain their sanity and tools to be ready the moment the rain stops. After an irritated Graham walks away, Anne points out that the children's attitudes are deteriorating because they were deprived of a proper childhood, telling Jason he needs to act as a father, not just a survivalist. She admits she deeply misses the husband he used to be. Later, Jason orders Ruth to stop hanging her drawings on the attic window, warning her that she will expose their location to the monsters. A sharp argument ensues, but they instantly fall silent when a monster appears right outside the door. As the family scrambles to hide, water begins seeping under the door gap, manipulating the doorknob and opening the front door for the first time in 5 years. The monster enters the house, searching the rooms and dripping a creepy saliva that immediately contaminates their primary water supply. Anne worries about the crops and tries to disconnect the sprinkler system, but the sound of her movement alerts the creature. She hides just in time as the monster passes close by without spotting her. The creature's sharp limbs pierce down through the ceiling floorboards directly above where Ruth is hiding, narrowly missing her. Soon, the toxic saliva kills the indoor garden, and a few droplets land directly on Ruth's face. Suddenly, an external noise echoes from the street, and more creatures appear outside the window. The monster inside the house leaves to join them. Seeing the open doorway, Graham runs toward it to escape, but Jason restrains him because the monsters are still nearby, and the door slams shut, sealing them back inside. Ruth touches the droplets on her face and realizes it is not saliva, but simple seawater. Jason notices the rain has stopped completely and tries to force the door, but it remains locked. Later, Ruth reads a book on ancient ocean myths, concluding the monsters are not aliens. They originate from the deep ocean, and the flooded world belongs to them. Jason corrects her, firmly stating that the land is still their home. Afterward, the parents confirm all their crops are dead and the water supply is ruined. Jason insists they can start over, but Anne demands he confront reality, sparking an intense argument. Simultaneously, the chimney trap catches a ferret and brings it inside. When Ruth goes to retrieve it, the animal bites her hand and escapes into the house. Hearing her scream, the parents rush to her side, terrified of infection, enraged. Jason hunts down the ferret and kills it. By evening, Ruth develops a severe fever and is confined to bed. They give her the last of their clean water, but she urgently requires medical supplies. A desperate Jason gets into his repaired car and repeatedly rams it into the garage door. But the barrier holds. The vehicle eventually crashes, causing Jason to strike his head and become dizzy. Hearing the impact, the family rushes to pull him from the wreckage. Jason stumbles out and collapses onto the floor, noticing deep cracks running through the foundation. This realization clears his mind. He grabs a tool to measure the depth of the fissures, then runs through the house checking the other structural cracks. Noting how deep they have become, he concludes the house has shifted significantly, opening a potential escape route. In the bathroom, he smashes the floor tiles away until he exposes a large pipe leading directly into the municipal sewer system. The line connects to the Richardson house, which should contain antibiotics since Mr. Richardson was a dentist. Jason cannot fit inside the pipe, so Anne volunteers to go, taking a flashlight and a camera link so the family can guide her progress. She navigates the sewers until she hits a brick wall, but finds the masonry loose enough to push through. At that moment, the camera signal cuts out completely. Jason frantically tries to widen the pipe opening. Graham runs to the window, calling his father over as he spots Anne arriving safely inside the neighbor's house. Looking around the Richardson home, Anne finds overgrown vegetation and Mrs. Richardson's remains. Heavy water stains on the walls indicate the house was completely flooded for years. As it begins to rain outside, Anne locates the medicine and prepares to leave, only to discover the monsters have returned to the street. The creatures enter the house, forcing Anne to sneak down into the basement, which is already flooding. She is startled by a monstrous face in the dark, but discovers it is merely Mr. Richardson's body. Her involuntary scream alerts a creature, forcing her to flee. She swims through the rising sewer water back to the pipe, but a monster corners her. She fires her gun at it, but the bullets cause no damage, and the creature disarms her. Back in the bathroom, the family pulls hard on the attached silk line, enabling Anne to escape through the pipe just as the monster climbs in after her. Jason quickly smashes a structural wall, letting the collapsing debris bury and block the pipe just in time. Anne administers the medicine to Ruth, who begins to recover. Jason wants the family to hide in the attic while he prepares to distract the monsters, guessing they will attack now that they know humans are inside. However, Graham states he is tired of hiding, declaring that this existence is surviving, not living. Anne agrees, and the family resolves to fight the entities together. They work as a team to construct a massive trap designed to double as an escape mechanism. Suddenly, a glowing spherical cloud forms in the sky, and water violently floods the house from every available opening: the chimney, sinks, toilets, and the bathroom pipe. The chimney burst knocks Jason back, while Anne pushes Ruth clear of a wave rushing down the stairs, which drags Graham under. The massive volume of water allows the monster to enter the home and move with high speed by swimming. Anne waits until the creature lunges to attack, then hurls a homemade bomb at it, setting it on fire. The monster dives underwater to extinguish the flames, its tentacles snaring Graham and dragging him down. Jason attempts to fire a harpoon gun at it, but misses. The tentacles lash out, tossing Jason through the air and into the water. Anne swims out to rescue her husband, reuniting with the children on the stairs. The water rises rapidly, forcing them toward the attic, but Graham dives back into the flooded kitchen to retrieve the dropped harpoon. Hearing the monster approaching, he hides near the ceiling, holding his breath. The family cuts a hole through the attic floorboards from above, pulling Graham out just before the monster reaches him. The creature's tentacles smash through the opening, but Jason beats them back with a hammer until they can lock themselves in the attic. The rising flood quickly fills the attic room as well, forcing the family to hold their breath and lock arms to stay positioned. When the monster finally breaches the attic, they pull a tripline tied to the harpoon before firing it, successfully impaling the beast. The opposite end of the cable is anchored to the car in the garage, which is activated by the shot. The vehicle drives forward, pulling the monster downward. The immense physical pressure causes the rising water to widen the foundation cracks, rapidly draining the floodwaters out of the house. The sudden suction clears the attic and drags the family down to the ground floor. They make a desperate rush for the front door, but it remains jammed. The thrashing creature becomes entangled in the main stair railing. Jason draws a knife, threatening to slaughter the monster if it does not release the barrier. Ruth stops him, warning that if the creature dies inside, the exit will seal permanently. Jason cuts the tethering rope instead and drops his weapon. Relieved of the strain, the monster forces the front door open. After 5 long years, the family runs out into the open air, only to find themselves surrounded by a pack of the creatures. As the monsters prepare to strike, the gentle one, Ruth, Drew, steps forward, stopping the attack. The creatures then run away together toward the coast. Behind them, the house finally collapses entirely into the earth, leaving nothing but a massive crater. The sun breaks through the clouds permanently. The family climbs onto an abandoned truck, watching the creatures swim out into the open ocean. Spotting their neighbor's boat parked nearby and in good condition, the family boards the vessel and sets sail. To their surprise, the ship's radio crackles to life as a fellow survivor contacts them.